So spirits want to talk a little bit about the voice, our spiritual voice and our physical voice. And it's very interesting that at the moment that we've got the Aborigines coming through with this group called The Voice, interestingly enough, because of course their voice in a sense was taken from them, you see, with when the Australians, flooded the country and the dominant reality came in. Really, the dominant reality wanted to create their superiority, and of course the Aborigines would feel that subjugation, the land that's taken, the rights taken, the laws kind of not there for them. So if all of these things are stripped away, the only thing that's really left is kind of this animalistic emotion, which can turn into hatred, self-hate, self-abuse, anger, violence. It's like if the voice is stripped away, that's like the higher parts of ourselves. That's all been stripped. So the only bits that are left are all the lower parts, which are the absolute emotion. So in a sense, when you take away someone's status, you take away their voice. And this is why it's so hard for sexual abuse victims to speak and to speak out against their attackers, is because they've perhaps been given so much fear and abuse and pain that they're locked in the emotional part of it, and their voice has been stripped away because their voice was non-existent. If they had said no, stop, it's non-existent. It's like it doesn't exist. It's been taken away. No protections in place. No protections, no laws, no support, no help. There's just emotions. And it's so incredibly difficult to reclaim the voice, the air parts, because the emotions are like the water parts, and the voice parts are much more the air parts. And of course the abusers, they hope for that, of course, in creating so much fear that they're reduced to this animalistic state of being, without a voice, like a guttural sort of just beast kind of person, without the dignity of a voice. The voice gives us our dignity and our status, because we can just, with a lightness of energy, we can say no, stop. And if people listen, that's status. So if you take away people's status, actually you take away their voice. The difficulty of that, of course, as well, the expression of anger takes so much more energy, So it's like people are not going to feel encouraged really to stand forward, because they are locked in the emotional side of it, which consumes a lot of that energy to express itself, because it hasn't got voice. Voice comes from status and from being supported. When you think about a princess, and she stands on the balcony and says hello, and everyone goes, oh, that's high status. So just the word that she said, hello, is like, this is a bit of a silly example, but that all she needed to do was to say that one word, and that's all supported. It's given such high status. And to strip people of everything, of their belongings, their land, their history, their culture, their life, is to strip them of status. It means their voice has gone. They can only speak in emotions. Because everything else has been robbed from them, really. But of course, they have to, by degrees, find and build and create their own voice again, from the inside upwards, going through each of those pain levels, finding those areas.